Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that the October 7, 2023 attack in southern Israel by Hamas is the worst attack in the country since the era of Holocaust, saying, unlike the Holocaust that couldn't fight, Israel is currently defending itself on 7 war fronts. According to Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel is fighting with Palestinian fighters, Hamas in Gaza, who carried out the October 7, 2023 attacks in the southern Israel that killed and injured thousands of Israeli residents with hundreds taken hostage. Adding, Israel is also defending itself against Hezbollah in Lebanon, he described as the world's most dangerous terrorist organization. He added that Hezbollah was planning bigger attack in Israel before the Hamas invasion occurred. Benjamin Netanyahu named the remaining 5 groups Israel is currently on war front with, which are Iran, Shiite militias in Iraq and Syria, Houthis in Yemen, terrorists in Judea and Samaria. Details of the Prime Minister's statement as reported and made available by the Office of the Prime Minister as news releases on Monday and previous days Sunday and Saturday reads below. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, today at the Prime Minister's office in Jerusalem, met with a bipartisan delegation of U.S. senators led by Lindsey Graham. Prime Minister Netanyahu, I deeply appreciate the visit by Senators Graham and Blumenthal on this day of commemoration, October 7th. It was the worst attack on the Jewish people since the Holocaust, but unlike the Holocaust, we fight back. We're fighting like lions with the support of the American government and the American people, and its representatives here. I want to thank you both for your stellar support for Israel throughout the war. U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal, thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. We're honored to be with you and we appreciate your giving us this opportunity to speak with you on this really agonizingly difficult day for your country and the people of Israel and all of us in the United States who feel so deeply that it was an absolutely abhorrent, inhuman attack on the Jewish people. We're here to say we have Israel's back and Israel has the right to defend itself. U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham, the reason people were killed on October 7th was they were Jewish. We've seen this movie before. We don't want to see any more of those movies. Living in their own homeland. You said something that really struck me. No one should be a refugee in their own country. They are going back to the north, folks. They are going back to these kibbutzes. Whatever it takes to get your people back in their homes, you do it. To my friends in France, you've got this as backwards. You should be doubling down on helping Israel, because the people that want to destroy Israel also want to destroy the French people. I get that. He gets that. You're fighting our fight. We're going to help you with your military needs. The Twin Towers fell not because of a hurricane, because radical Islamist terrorists killed 3,000 of us on a single day. And they would kill all of us if they could. If Iran ever got a nuclear weapon, they would use it. The question would be, who would they use it against first? Me, you, Saudi Arabia. We can never let that happen. So we're going to help you. Also attending the meeting were the Prime Minister's foreign policy advisor, Dr. Ophir Falk, the Prime Minister's spokesperson, Dr. Omar Dostri, and the head of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs North America desk, Dor Shapira. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited an IDF base on the northern border where he held a security assessment with head of Northern Command Major General Ori Gordon and 36th Division Commander Brigadier General Moran Omar. The Prime Minister was briefed on the deployment of forces in Lebanon, the operational achievements to date and future objectives. Prime Minister Netanyahu heard from Major General Gordon about the destruction of Hezbollah's capabilities that has been achieved during the ground effort and the use of intense fire. During the briefing, the Prime Minister spoke with 36th Division Brigade commanders about the intense combat on multiple fronts which they have been taking part in for almost a year. Prime Minister Netanyahu then spoke with fighters from the division. Prime Minister Netanyahu, I am here with IDF soldiers on the northern border. Several meters from here, over the border, their fellow soldiers are dismantling the terrorist infrastructure that Hezbollah had prepared in order to attack our communities. I told them, "You are heroes worthy of commendation. You, together with your fellow soldiers, IDF fighters and the security forces in Gaza, Judea and Samaria, throughout the region, are doing amazing things. You are lions." A year ago, we took a terrible blow. In the 12 months since then, we have changed the reality across the board. The entire world is astonished by the blows you are landing on our enemies. I salute you and tell you, you are the generation of victory. Together we will fight and together we will win, with GD's help. The Prime Minister was accompanied by his Chief of Staff, Zachary Breverman, his Military Secretary, Major General Roman Goffman and his spokesperson, Dr. Omar Dostri. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, today, Israel is defending itself on 7 fronts against the enemies of civilization. We are fighting in Gaza against Hamas, the savages who murdered, raped, beheaded and burned our people on October 7th. We are fighting in Lebanon against Hezbollah, the most heavily armed terror organization in the world, which was planning an even greater massacre than October 7th on our northern border, and that has rocketed Israeli towns and cities for nearly a year. We are fighting against the Houthis in Yemen, and the Shiite militias in Iraq and Syria, that together have launched hundreds of drones and missile attacks against Israel. We are fighting against terrorists in Judea and Samaria, who are trying to murder civilians in the heart of our cities. And we are fighting against Iran, which last week fired over 200 ballistic missiles directly at Israel and which stands behind this 7-front war against Israel. As Israel fights the forces of barbarism led by Iran, all civilized countries should be standing firmly by Israel's side. Yet President Macron and other Western leaders are now calling for arms embargoes against Israel. Shame on them. Is Iran imposing an arms embargo on Hezbollah, on the Houthis, on Hamas and on its other proxies? Of course not. This axis of terror stands together. But countries who supposedly oppose this terror axis call for an arms embargo on Israel. What a disgrace. Israel will win with or without their support. But their shame will continue long after the war is won. For in defending ourselves against this barbarism, Israel is defending civilization against those who seek to impose a dark age of fanaticism on all of us. Rest assured, Israel will fight until the battle is won, for our sake and for the sake of peace and security in the world.
I have a message. I have a message for President Macron. Today, Israel is defending itself on 7 fronts against the enemies of civilization. We're fighting in Gaza against Hamas, those savages who murdered, raped, beheaded, and burned our people on October 7th. We're fighting in Lebanon against Hezbollah, the most heavily armed terror organization in the world, which was planning an even greater massacre than October 7th on our northern border, and that has rocketed Israeli towns and cities for nearly a year. We're fighting against the Houthis in Yemen and the Shiite militias in Iraq and Syria that together have launched hundreds of drones and missile attacks against Israel. We're fighting against terrorists in Judea and Samaria who are trying to murder civilians in the heart of our cities. And we're fighting against Iran, which last week fired over 200 ballistic missiles directly at Israel, and which stands behind the 7-front war against Israel. As Israel fights the forces of barbarism led by Iran, all civilized countries should be standing firmly by Israel's side. Yet President Macron and some other Western leaders are now calling for an arms embargo against Israel. Shame on them. Is Iran imposing an arms embargo on Hezbollah, on the Houthis, on Hamas, and on its other proxies? Of course not. The axis of terror stands together. But countries who supposedly oppose this terror axis call for an arms embargo on Israel. What a disgrace. Well, let me tell you this. Israel will win with or without their support. But their shame will continue long after the war is won. For in defending ourselves against this barbarism, Israel is defending civilizations against those who seek to impose a dark
Nigeria President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has ordered the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, to return peace, law and order to Rivers State following violence that erupted across the state on Monday morning after the winners of the local government area chairpersons and councillors polls were declared on Sunday. President Tinubu, in a statement signed and made available by the Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, said the police should secure the local government area secretariats while urging the state governor, Fubara Siminalayi, and other parties involved in the elections to seek redress in court and avoid self-help. The elections results showed that the Action People's Party have won most of the positions in the local government elections, as the party secured 314 out of 319 councillorship seats across the state's 23 local government areas. The chairman of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RSIEC, Justice Adolphus Enebeli, announced the results in Port Harcourt on Sunday, stating the APP also won 22 out of the 23 local government area chairmanship seats. According to the RSIEC, the APP won 314 wards, while the All Progressives Congress, Labour Party, Social Democratic Party and Young People's Party each clinched one seat. Channels Television on Monday reported that the Rivers State local government elections may have concluded successfully, but tension remains between factions loyal to Governor Siminalayi Fubara and those aligned with the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. Governor Fubara had on Sunday raised concerns about an alleged plan to obstruct the newly elected chairman as they resume office. On Monday, those concerns played out in some councils. In Ahoda East local government area, the newly sworn-in chairman Chibudom Hezekiah, along with councillors and a large crowd of supporters, encountered resistance at the council gate, where a small group attempted to prevent them from gaining access. However, with the intervention of security operatives and the insistence of the crowd, the situation was brought under control, allowing the chairman and his team to enter the council. Amidst jubilation, the new councillors proceeded with their swearing-in ceremony. Afterward, they moved directly to their chambers to hold their first sitting. Chairman Hezekiah alleged that the brief disruption at the gate was orchestrated by the former chairman, Benjamin Eke, who is loyal to Wike. He emphasized that the will of the people is greater. Channels Television reached out to Eke via telephone, and he confirmed that he was responsible for the resistance. However, he explained that his actions were in protest of the elections, which he believes should not have taken place due to a court order from Abuja. Earlier on Monday, police authorities announced the reopening of the 23 local government council secretariats following the successful conduct of the elections. They have also withdrawn their officers who were previously blocking access to the councils. With ongoing tensions, one can only hope for peace to prevail to enable the required development at the grassroots level of Rivers State. However, President Bola Tinubu has called on Governor Siminalayi Fubara, political leaders and their supporters in Rivers State to exercise restraint and uphold the rule of law. In response to recent tensions following last Saturday's local government council election, the president expressed deep concern over reports of arson and explosions in the state. He urged all political actors to de-escalate the situation and discourage their supporters from engaging in violence or destructive actions. President Tinubu directed the police to restore and maintain peace, law, and order immediately, while instructing law enforcement agencies to bring the situation under control. He emphasized the need to ensure the security of public institutions. President Tinubu said government facilities built with public funds must be safeguarded from vandalism. He stressed that self-help has no place in a democratic system, especially after 25 years of continuous democracy. According to President Tinubu, the judiciary can settle all political disputes, and the outcome of this election should be no exception, Bayo Onanuga stated in the press statement. Former Nigeria President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan had on Saturday, during the election, cautioned against escalation of violence. He had said, "I am aware that the local government election taking place in Rivers State today, October 5th, has been a subject of great interest to political actors. The political happenings in Rivers State in the past days is a cause for serious concern for everyone, especially lovers of democracy and all actors within the peace and security sector of our nation. Elections are the cornerstone of democracy because they are the primary source of legitimacy. This process renews the faith of citizens in their country as it affords them the opportunity to have a say on who governs them. Every election is significant, whether at national or sub-national levels, as it counts as a gain and honor to democracy. It is the responsibility of all stakeholders, especially state institutions, to work towards the promotion of sound democratic culture, of which periodic election stands as a noble virtue. Democracy is our collective asset. Its growth and progress is dependent on government's commitment to uphold the rule of law and pursue the interests of peace and justice at all times. Institutions of the state, especially security agencies, must refrain from actions that could lead to breakdown of law and order. Rivers State represents the gateway to the Niger Delta, and the threat to peace in the state could have huge security implications in the region. Let me sound a note of caution to all political actors in this crisis to be circumspect and patriotic in the pursuit of their political ambition and relevance. I am calling on the National Judicial Commission, NJC, to take action that will curb the proliferation of court orders and judgments, especially those of concurrent jurisdiction giving conflicting orders. This, if not checked, will ridicule the institution of the judiciary and derail our democracy. The political situation in Rivers State mirrors our past, the crisis of the old western region. I, therefore, warn that Rivers should not be used as crystal that will form the block that will collapse our democracy. State institutions, especially the police and the judiciary and all other stakeholders, must always work for public interest and promote common good such as peace, justice and equality. While the elections were ongoing on Saturday, there was heavy gunfire at Rumupirikon community in Rivers State, the country home of former governor and minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. A source in the area, according to Sahara Reporters, said some people had come into the community and announced that no one should come out for the local government polls. It was gathered that when the electoral officers were about to arrive at the ward in the Obio, a poor local government area, the gunmen arrived in the area as well. The unidentified gunmen, who arrived in the area with heavy gunfire, scared of people from coming out to participate in the election. It was also gathered that one person sustained a bullet injury and had been rushed to a health facility for treatment. The state electoral body suspended the declaration of results for Eche local government area, LGA, because the collation was said to be ongoing on Sunday. The RSIEC chairman, according to Channels Television, had said that announcement for the 319 councillorship seats will be announced alongside that of the Eche chairmanship position when collations are concluded. He described the election as free, fair, and credible, despite all odds. According to him, polls were closed at 3 p.m. and recorded a large turnout of voters. Enebeli saluted the patriotism of the residents who turned out to vote. The declaration of the results was observed by members of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, chairman of the state's independent electoral bodies across the country, and members of the Nigerian Bar Association who acted as observers in the polls. He said the commission adopted the principle of bilocation because of the exigencies they found themselves. The results were announced at the Ministry of Justice Hall at the State Secretariat Complex, rather than the Commission's office on Aba Road. On election day, 2 explosions rocked the state. Police authorities confirmed that one of the incidents happened earlier on Saturday. The first explosion was reported at the APC Secretariat on Aba Road at approximately 3 a.m. A security guard reported hearing a loud bang and, upon investigation, observed 3 black Toyota Hilux vans speeding away from the scene. The spokesperson of the Rivers State Police Command, Grace Irinch Koko, said, adding that the incidents are being investigated. The explosion caused significant damage, destroying the gates and shattering the windows of the building. Additionally, the security building was set ablaze. The second explosion occurred at the Obio, Apo Council Secretariat around 3:30 a.m. Eyewitnesses reported seeing a black Toyota Hilux van and a white Toyota Sienna minivan drive past the Secretariat. Gunshots were equally reported in some parts of Port Harcourt, the state capital. Some unidentified persons who rode in a black Toyota Corolla were spotted firing gunshots around the Wimpy area of the state, which is a stone's throw from the home of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike. Some members of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, had earlier in the week protested against the conduct of the election and had stormed the Department of State Security Office and the Government House both in Port Harcourt to register their demand. Saturday's declaration of results brings to an end a pulsating run to the local government election in the oil-rich state. The election followed the federal government's 3-month grace for states to conduct local government polls. Ahead of the exercise, police authorities had said they would not provide security for the election, citing a court order. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, was also barred by a court order from presenting the voter register to RSIEC. That move created ripples in the state, leading to a heightened atmosphere days before the election. On the 3rd, Governor Siminalayi Fubara vowed that the poll would hold and stormed the RSIEC office around 1 a.m. on Friday, alleging that police operatives in the state want to thwart the exercise. "We are prepared, the governor said as he called on the Inspector General of Police, IGP, Kayode Egbetokun, to take responsibility for any disruptions. But the police said their officers were at the RSIEC office to secure the facility. Conversely, in reaction to credible and actionable intelligence received about plans by hoodlums to carry out an arson attack on the RSIEC office, police personnel were deployed to secure the premises, the Rivers State Police Command said. The Rivers State Police Command remain committed to our duty to maintain the peace and ask residents of Rivers State to act within the confines of the law. The police will do everything to maintain law and order. Some of the top parties in the state, including Fubara's People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the All Progressives Congress, APC, did not participate in the election. You know this election, I am the greatest loser because my party is not participating. It is the truth. The Nigeria Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has said that the Nigeria Police Force was served with a court order not to provide security in this Saturday Rivers State local government elections, which apparently means the court ordered the police institution not to be alive to its constitutional and institutional responsibility of protecting lives and properties, most importantly during conflict of interest or dispute. The police boss stated this in a press statement issued on Friday by the force public relations officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, in reaction to the statements of the Rivers State Governor, Fubara Siminalayi, who had accused the IGP of trying to stop or disrupt the election. Fubara had early morning night on Friday about 1 a.m. stormed the premises of Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RSIEC, to ask the police team deployed to the facility by the IGP to leave. According to the IGP, he decided to withdraw the Rivers State Government House police operatives the governor sent to protect the RSIEC office with another set of policemen following intelligence reports as relayed to him by the Commissioner of Police in Rivers State that there was an attempt to attack the building. IGP Egmetokun said the allegations made against him by the Rivers State Governor was unfounded. The Nigeria Police Force has noted with concern the recent statements made by the Governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Siminalayi Fubara, in which several unfounded allegations were leveled against the Office of the Inspector General of Police and the Nigeria Police Force. In light of these claims, it has become necessary to set the record straight. Firstly, it is important to clarify that there is a subsisting Federal High Court order barring the Nigeria Police Force from participating in the Rivers State elections. This order was duly served on both the NPF and the Rivers State government. As a law-abiding institution, the IGP instructed the Commissioner of Police in Rivers State to strictly adhere to this court order by refraining from any direct involvement in the election process. However, in the evening of the 3rd of October 2024, the Commissioner of Police Rivers State received reports that policemen from Rivers State Government House have been deployed to the office of Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RSIEC, to aid the conduct of the election. This report was also relayed to the Inspector General of Police, who gave clearance to the Commissioner of Police to withdraw the policemen from the Government House and replace with policemen from the Command Operations Department. The mandate of the men from the Operations Department was to provide overnight security for the RSIEC to prevent any attack on the facility. It is also important to note that prior to this, there had been series of security breaches in the state following the spread of court orders and counter orders and reactions to them by supporters of the different political parties involved. The response of the command to secure RSIEC overnight was therefore professional and supported by the Inspector General of Police. For emphasis sake, the policemen deployed to RSIEC from the Operations Department of Rivers State Command on the night of the 3rd of October 2024 were with the sole mandate to protect the RSIEC office from attack overnight. This action was proactive and responsive to intelligence at the disposal of the State Command. It is therefore shocking to see the State Governor storming the RSIEC office at night, wrongly accusing the police on lawful duties, deriding the police institution and using unprintable words to describe the Inspector General of Police. The Nigeria Police takes exception to the unwarranted outburst of the governor and particularly the weighty accusations which he falsely levied against the Inspector General of Police and the entire Nigeria Police Force and advised caution and decency in the pursuit of individual political goals. Threatening to shed blood and to burn down the state because of a local government election is not acceptable to us. The Nigeria Police Force is committed to protection of lives and properties and will work with other security agencies in Rivers State to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order in the state. To this end, the Inspector General of Police has ordered increased deployment into Rivers State to beef up security throughout the state. Citizens of Rivers State are advised to go about their lawful businesses, the IGP stated as contained in the press statement. Governor Fubara had also accused the IGP of trying to block the election from holding, saying, "The relationship the IGP has with someone in the state has gone beyond professional." The person, he could be referring apparently to the immediate past governor of the state who is currently the Nigerian Minister of Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, who appeared to have had issues with the governor shortly after the governor took over office.
Gentlemen of the press, we came here this morning when we heard that according to what they call themselves, Nigeria Police, are coming to take over the premises of Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission. And I had to come myself to find out why would such a thing happen. From what I heard, that one DC operation brought them here to withdraw policemen that are already here protecting this place so that new officers will take over the place. But I have to say this on a very strong note. We've been taking enough nonsense from this institution. Everybody is aware of the court judgment, and even the judgment as they call it, the ruling. Did the ruling specify anywhere that the election should not hold? He said, don't give voters register. What are we doing with it? Okay, police, don't provide security. Don't provide security. Is this the same thing as blocking the election? I don't know what the relationship between Inspector General of Police and one person who claims he has so much power in this state. I don't know the relationship because it's beginning to go beyond the normal professional relationship. I said the government wrote a letter with the judgments that we have to him, and what he's acting on is what he called the federal government, the judgment he got from the Federal High Court. Even at that, if we should go by that, the judgment in the Federal High Court, did he say election should be bad? Lifu, that's that justice that gave that fraudulent judgment. Did he say no election? Rather, it technically said, don't provide. We don't need your security. We will provide our own security. After all, it happened in Anambra. Go away with your security. But this election must hold. If you like whatever it is you want to do, do it. The election will hold, result will be declared. People will be sworn in. I say it here. What kind of a country is it? And when it comes to the issue of Rivers State, it becomes different. You're not ashamed of yourself. You call yourself Inspector General of Police.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. I will be here. In fact, if I go back and I hear anybody, I will come here. This is my property. And you don't have any power whatsoever to bar me from entering it. Yes. Just try it. That part of your history as a very wicked and fraudulent Inspector General of Police will include shooting Fubara.
Yes.
I think I've given you enough respect. Well, let me say it to all Rivers indigents. Everyone residing in Rivers State, election will hold.
Yes.
Yes. Election will hold.
Yes.
Anything that wants to happen, let it happen.
We are here. Other states did. Yes. We are here.
I don't understand.
I'm not going anywhere. Let me fear anybody.
All other states did. So, everybody, just relax. Nothing is happening. We are ready. If we know that this is going to be the last fight, and we will take it to the end. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Osasua Nedo, bringing you the news in a more digital way.